Is this thing on? Testy, testy, 1, 2. We live,
Oh,
Nicholas?
indeed.
We are. We are. How was your anniversary, buddy?
It was great. It still is great. Because today technically is the day.
Oh, see, so this is the issue I have, right? Because we got married Columbus Day weekend, not Columbus Day, but Columbus Day weekend. So I just like we never actually celebrate our anniversary on the day. It's just like whenever Columbus Day weekends falls, that's just
Mhm.
sort of when we'll be like, oh yeah, happy anniversary sort of thing. So I know you got married Labor Day weekend, so now that we're technically past, I just oh, it's Labor Day weekend. Happy anniversary. Hope it makes sense, right? See where my
Yeah.
brain's at?
Well, I mean, I totally expect you to remember the date. Come on, Joe. Come on.
Well,
I don't care that you were there. I don't expect you to remember the date. I do that. I put some people's anniversaries in my calendar. We found out we did. I don't know how after 5+ years. I don't know how I had no idea that I knew your anniversary was in October. It's the same day as my brother's birthday, and it's
yeah,
like right after my birthday. I don't know how
yeah,
we've never talked about that before. Like
no
that's
idea.
insane. That's crazy to
Yeah,
me.
I don't even
Um,
know my parents' anniversary to be honest with you. So
I wouldn't know. I probably wouldn't know mine if theirs wasn't 4 days after my birthday. So it's
oh,
just like it's all in like weird. It's like all in the same thing. Lauren has that with her family too, where a few things are all at once. But anyways, we had a lovely time. Got to spend some time with my new nephews, my twin nephews, and
oh boy,
they
how's
are
your brother
just
holding up?
he's tired, but
Yeah,
it's been but he's loving it. He's absolutely loving it, and I loved every second of it.
3 weeks,
2. 2
two,
weeks. Yeah,
two.
or yeah, 2 weeks because they were born in the yeah, 2 weeks. But technically they're negative 2
Oh,
years, 2 weeks old. So like
yeah,
yeah, because they're born early, but they're doing
yeah.
great.
Good,
They're
good, good.
they're big for twins, but obviously like compared to like a full term
Power
baby.
pitchers,
Yeah,
power pitchers.
I don't know. My brother's talking about them being hockey players, dude, and I'm
No,
like,
no, to nip that in the bud. Right, I played hockey all my life. Tell him to nip. He's a fucking idiot. Tell him to nip that shit in the bud.
that's his idea, dude. That's his idea. I'm like, Jake, that means you got to wake up for like 4 o'clock for like practice and stuff. Like,
And God forbid they're on different teams.
oh
And
geez,
now, right? And then it's impossible.
I can't imagine that being a thing. Well, actually, no, talent wise, you mean yeah, okay? Because I'm
Yes.
thinking town league wise, like because town league you can't do that, but talent
Yeah.
wise, yeah, that's an
Yeah.
interesting point. Yeah, but I don't know. He's like, right wing, left wing. I'm like, all
No,
right,
no,
dude.
no, no. What you need to show him is Peyton Tolley and Narvaez, right? That's the combo you want, right?
Dude, I mean, that's what we were, and I don't know. I think well, he didn't play hockey. I wanted to play hockey, but I never really learned how to skate. But then by that
Also,
time I was like,
that's going
oh
to be wildly expensive for two boys.
yeah, dude. I'm like hockey's the most expensive sport there is. I don't get it.
Hockey sticks now, right? Hockey sticks are like a couple $100, and that's just the sticks. That's 2 sticks. That's 4 skates.
I honestly, dude, I have no clue what's going to happen because between him and his wife, they were both 3 sport athletes and both collegiate athletes. So like they could go any route, like when it comes to like what they end up doing. And she's the better
Tennis,
athlete than my brother.
volleyball, soccer, cheap, cheap, cheap.
She was lacrosse for college and then also played soccer and tennis. And it's
Yeah.
like that could end up being the route that they go. I don't know. I'm like I'm baffled, but he's like hockey.
Yeah, I'll talk to Jake. Don't worry, I got this. I'll nip that in the bud for him.
You're gonna send him another. Here, I'm gonna send you a cliff diving video every day until you change your mind.
He laughed so hard when I sent him the last one. Anyways, Nicholas, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Love you and your family.
Love
Glad
you
to
too,
hear
brother.
everything's going well with Jake and the kids. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all ages, TLDR Studios proudly presents you the greatest, and I mean the greatest. No questions about it. Don't you dare doubt it. He is your everyday comic book writer, Nick Friar. I'm your friendly neighborhood backcracker, Dr. Joe. Together we are the TLDR Comic Book Club. Baby, I mean, I assume you're thinking about comics, writing comics every day, so it kind of fits.
The other thing, I generally am. I actually started working on like something else mentally that I've had like kind of in the back of my mind. But you know what's funny is you had like a great rhyme that I feel like was unintentional right before that.
Mm-hmm.
When you let it flow, it's just like it's not. It's great. You just genius.
A beautiful mind, baby. A beautiful mind. Right.
Exactly. But yeah, we got a lot planned right now this week because of Labor Day. We are only doing what's new. Generally, though, when we only do what's new, that means we have a Friar side chat dropping. Those are our conversations with creators across the industry. Generally, that's writers. We obviously like to mix in artists and other people throughout the business, get some great insight from all the different titles that we're working on. You can only find those on our audio channel. So if you're finding us on YouTube right now, finding us on Instagram Live, definitely subscribe and follow us there. Leave a like on the videos that you're watching. It helps the show out a ton, but also make sure you subscribe to one of the audio channels. That's the only place you're going to get the Friar side chats. We're talking Apple, Spotify, Geeks Worldwide Radio, Audible, Amazon Music, and leave a 5-star rating and review while you're there, please. Otherwise, you're learning the real meaning of Tenacious Doc. And I will say, you never know when the next Fireside Chat is coming, because honestly, Joe and I never know when it's coming. The only time we can ever tell you when one's confirmed is when it's in the hopper. But things are always happening in the background. We're always talking to people. Other people are always talking to us. So you never know. So make sure you subscribe there, because we may have something coming your way soon and not know that it's happening. And I genuinely mean that. All right, moving on. We got quite a few books to get to, a solid week to kick off the month of September, Joe. But before we get into what's new, a little catching up for you.
Yeah, because this is potential tease. Who knows, right? We're working on stuff, so I had to do some reading to catch up on stuff. So you gladly undibsed something so that I could be prepared for what may be coming down the pike, and that is Cable, Love and Chrome. This is a book you've raved about since you started reading it. This is David Pepos, right?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And I gotta tell you, Nicholas, let's see. I'm trying to think. This was last Wednesday, and we're talking, we're jiving, we're spitballing, many fingers, many pies, sort of thing. And so okay, we got to get ready. So, so downloading a bunch of books on Hoopla and going through our folders, and I said, you know what? Okay, I've now got an entire document of all books that I have to read ASAP. And Cable, Love and Chrome was one of them. And so I sat down, lit a few candles, and and got to read, Nicholas. I fucking flew, didn't put it down. Issue after issue after issue. Got through. It's 5 or 6, right? Flew. Yeah. Flew. Man, I've never read a Cable-centric comic before. Cable has always just been, a player in whatever X-Men, run I've been reading at the time. Not only did Pepos absolutely kill that character in terms of how he wrote him, bringing him to life and telling his story, but the twists and turns that this story took. And the thing with Cable and sort of time travel and all this, it can get a little sticky. It can get a little messy. Right. And he just had his outline on this book must have been absolutely perfect and so wildly detailed, because he, not only the twists and turns, but the way he was able to bring things back around. And he did that number of times, was tremendous. I mean, I just loved every single aspect of this book. And one of the things I loved is the start of every issue. He just sort of did the kind of, the first 2 panels were always sort of the same, the narration from Cable, just sort of telling you about who he is. I don't know. I found that just to be even though I could see where that would help monthly readers. And if there was any sort of delay, just to kind of, refresh you without going into, nauseating detail. It was just a quick little 2 panels, bang, bang, with the narration. And I love that. And so I can't wait to have the chance to potentially talk about this book more, but you were spot on when you initially called dibs on this.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really glad you liked it. And it was giving it up to not talk about it on the show. Look, the listeners are first. And as we, have conversations behind the scenes about potential conversations up for the show, we have to make certain priorities. And I just didn't talk about this soon enough. And I'm glad that you loved it. I'm glad you checked it out. It's outstanding. The stuff that Pepos and Mike Henderson do with Cable is great. But then you get this new character who's added to the mix too. And interesting at first, fascinating by the end of the series. Like I was blown away by what they did. It was just like everything. The whole series was outstanding, but they really lived up to the title in such an interesting way that was so unexpected. That trade is out this month. We will tell you guys that right now. It's coming out on the 23rd. But yeah, I'm really glad that you liked it, Joe. Before we get to what's new, I do want to address Joel Mulvey in the chat, who is the artist on Terminator, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yes. Talk more with artists. Yes, 100%, Joe. Come on the show. We'd love to have you. I love talking with artists because I love process. I've said this before. I have some wildly talented artists in my family, and that gene just sort of nicked me. But I'm just always fascinated because to me it's like it's one of those things where I know artists work exceptionally hard what they do, and there's just something that like creatively, creative wise, like it's not plugged into my brain. I can't, there's a vision I don't have, right? Ability is something that you can practice work on, but there's things I can't see that when I watch an artist work, or when I watch like a chef work, or you watch anybody that's just got that sort of gift and talent. It's always so blown away, and I love process and all that. So yes, we're always trying to get artists on. We've had a few more artists on recently, right? We had Sally Citriano on with John Lees.
Yep. We're definitely we always say her name wrong. I feel so bad.
I think I got it right though. I think I got
you
it
might
right.
have. You might have right.
We've had Dan Panosian on and did both talk writing and art, so
yep.
But I agree. We need more artists.
Look at that. Anytime you gents want to talk, I'm happy. Really enjoy the show. Thank you very much, Joe. We will be taking you up on that for sure. That's awesome. Look at that. That's a first. That's first.
Booked it on the show, baby.
Booked the guest mid-show. There you go. Awesome. All right. Let's get into what we got coming out this week, Joe. Lots to break down. Why don't you take us through Marvel first, please?
All right. So what is dropping from Marvel Comics on New Comic Book Day, September 3rd, 2025, the year of our year? We have Ultimate X-Men issue 19, The Amazing Spider-Man issue 11, Wolverine issue 13, the lucky issue, The Avengers issue 30, Magic, do it, Nicholas, issue 9, Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu, issue 12. There we go. 2 titles too late, but we got there. All New Venom, issue 10. Lord Kinney Wolverine, issue 10. Legacy of Veda, issue 8. Gwenpool, issue 5. Doctor Strange, issue 450. Spider-Man 94, issue 1. Imperial War Exiles, issue 1. Yes, Jeff. And Other Marvel Tales. See, I like how they spell tales there. Issue 1. Star Wars, Han Solo, Hunt for the Falcon, issue 1. And there is a book that you would like to discuss.
There is, but I do want to address the Spider-Man 94 issue 1 issue, because that's like one I would assume that some of our listeners would be interested in some capacity. We've talked about X-Men 92 on the show previously, and I loved that series. Joe has read that, and you got it for, I believe, your nephew, if I'm not mistaken, previously. I feel like after reading this issue, that is definitely the general age range that this goes for. I do think if you liked the show previously, like that we grew up on, it's worth checking out. Wasn't necessarily my favorite, especially and more so compared to X-Men 92. It just didn't do it for me in the same way, and that's not because of my love of X-Men versus Spider-Man. It's just that's kind of how I felt about this issue. That said, I do think that a younger reader is still going to appreciate this a little bit more than someone maybe our age. But if you're nostalgic for the comic, for the show, then definitely don't let me stop you from checking it out. But younger readers, definitely a little bit better for them. But all that said, the book that I wanted to break down that Joe was alluding to is an X-Men title. And I feel like on a monthly basis, I do talk about this a lot, but it's honestly one of the most important titles in all of comics. Uncanny X-Men, issue 20 is out this week. Gail Simone is writing this series. Now, the primary artist on the series has been David Marquez, but in this issue, it's Luciano Vecchio, who I believe Luciano's done quite a bit of work. David Marquez is personally my favorite, and right now, as much as I'm loving his work on Uncanny X-Men, the book that Joe and I both are loving from David Marquez right now is The Unchosen. Just a remarkable, yeah, exactly, a remarkable visual experience. But all the artists that they've been kind of throwing in the mix as David has been, balancing this load and the Unchosen and other stuff have been doing a great job. This issue is no different. But for me, this issue I was really impressed when it came from a story element, and more specifically for Gail Simone from a character development element, because this is a big issue for one of the new X-Men. And I've been saying this a lot throughout this series, that the new X-Men that have been added to the mix, I feel like that's always a challenge whenever you're bringing in new characters to Big Two. It's just like, I'm here for Wolverine. I'm here for Gambit. These new characters. Okay, cool. This is, to me, at least in the past, 10 years, this is the best I've seen when it comes to integrating new characters that aren't villains into a Big Two title. Gail Simone has done an outstanding job. And then with this character, like, we're 20 issues in, we have this character Ransom, who has this badass flair to him, and he's kind of him and Wolverine have started to develop, like they're like kindred spirits in a way, because they both just have this harder exterior, and we start to learn more this issue why Ransom's the way he is, and I'm just, so much depth was added to this character in one issue, and it's just like, okay, that makes sense. It's just like everything. I was just like, wow, and the action in it is very cool. Everything about it. I love this issue. I liked Ransom before quite a bit. I love this character now. He might have been number 2 on my list previously of the four new X-Men. I think he's number 1 at this stage. Like this issue, maybe there's recency bias, Joe, but this issue was really, really fucking good.
I have a new slogan that Marvel needs to use for X-Men. Come for Wolverine, stay for Jubilee. Right? They'll just fucking, they will triple their X-Men sales.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll do it.
It will. Trust. I know what I'm doing. I may not be a doer. I'm an idea man, Nicholas.
Ideas.
I'm an idea man. I can't execute, but I got the ideas.
Oh man, I can't say I expected that today. But yeah, Jubilee's in this series too. Wolverine and Jubilee are both in this series. So there you go. Look at that. You need to get off your ass and start reading this series. I'm telling you.
I know. But I had to read Cable 11 Chrome.
You're very right. You are very right. But pick a night, like when you get it. I was going to say when you get a slow weekend. You haven't had a slow weekend in ages.
Dude, I'm thinking Columbus Day weekend might be my next dead weekend. Right.
Why'd you put that? You're fucked now. Sorry.
Well, Violet was supposed to have a soccer game that weekend, but the other team won't have enough players to field because it's Columbus Day weekend, and I guess apparently the other team just goes balls out for Columbus Day. So the coach told me today, he's like, "Oh, the weekend before we're gonna do a home and away doubleheader." Oh my!
Wow. I
know who's getting ham sauce between games. This
guy. Get out of here. I haven't thought about something like that. Like when
I go team. I told the coach, I go team lunch between games. He goes, that's not a bad idea. I go, yeah. At least I don't have to coach.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Forget that, dude. My goodness. But yeah. Well, whenever you decide, like I'm gonna sit down and read Uncanny, you're gonna enjoy it.
It has been at the front of my mind.
Yeah, good. And you got a ton to get to. 20 issues, man. I can't believe it's been 20 issues. It's just been an awesome series. Anyways, moving over to DC, we actually got 2 titles that we want to discuss. Big week for DC. So we got Absolute Superman issue 11, Batgirl. Yeah, so that was very, very much a wild issue. Batgirl issue 11, Poison Ivy issue 36, Birds of Prey issue 25, Justice Society of America issue 11, Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong volume 2 issue 4. Resurrection Man, Quantum Karma, issue 6. Cheetah and Cheshire rob the Justice League. Oh, sorry. Cheetah and Cheshire rob the Justice League, issue 2. Then there are 2 books that we wanted to discuss, but I think, Joe, that there's a book that was a big one this week that I actually forgot because we read this a little bit early.
Yes. I forgot to put it on my friggin' list.
Yep. The Adventures of Superman, the Book of L. issue 1. That's by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Scott Godlewski. And I know you and I weren't planning on breaking it down because we just, in our note-taking, kind of forgot. But because we read it in advance, dude, oh my God, this is just this big, massive, bombastic fight. And it's just, this is, I love the way Philip Kennedy Johnson has teased this series and the way the
Mm.
first issue delivers and how explosive it is. I'm very curious about all the family elements that are going to be at play because he's been doing a lot with the L's. But there's also stuff that we see with the Kents that I'm interested in. I don't know if I would assume we're going to distance from that, but I would think there's going to be an influence from them throughout the course of the series, as there tends to be with Superman. But I'm just very interested in how Philip ends up, fleshing out this story. It was a really fun first issue.
Yeah, it feels like the culmination of all of his previous work, with Superman and War World and all of that, and it's like he's bringing his baby home, right?
Yep.
It was such an excellent issue. Um, and again, I've talked about Philip Kennedy Johnson a ton on this show. He was awesome to meet at Boston Fan Expo. But his writing in general, he's uh he elicits a lot of emotion, which I like. There's a grittiness to his writing, and he's not afraid to get down and dirty too. You know what I mean? So like
Mhm.
he brings a lot of aspects, a lot of depth to his writing that I love, and you get that in this first issue.
By the way, I didn't make good on this off air last week, so I'll make good on it on air now. I read all of Crocodile Black. Oh my god,
Oh, I
that
told
was
you,
that was
right?
that was insane. And honestly, like that's a book that the way it ends, not just today, you just in general. I can't think of a comic book many, or at least that have ended that way. That was remarkable the way that story went and the
Yeah.
direct. Like, it's just like you keep wondering like where's this gonna go? Where's it gonna go? And it's like, damn,
Right.
wow, like
Right. What I think when I talked about, I said you can feel the manic depression,
oh yeah,
right? Like you
oh yeah.
feel that, it jumps out at the page at you, right? And the art style does it too, right? Because when he gets like, even the
Mm-hmm.
art makes you feel
Psalm,
manic,
I think is
right?
the artist's name.
Yeah,
Psalm.
yeah. I think
Yeah,
so. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. That was
Um,
very unsettling. The art, all of it. Yeah, that was an outstanding series and definitely like a must, like a TLDR worthy book through and through. Definitely something people should be checking out.
mm.
But speaking of books people should be checking out and first issues from DC this week, Joe, I think you got to talk to the people about what Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez did this week with Batman issue 1.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't like the fact that they renumbered that, but that's just a me nitpicky thing. It's got nothing to do with the story or anything like that. Um, Man, I loved it. I absolutely love. I love Matt Fraction. He's a great writer, and I'm so happy to see Jorge back on Batman. And one of the things I loved about this issue, right, is that uh, Matt has a lot of fun with Batman's technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, yes, we're all familiar with Batman and his gadgets and all that, but he just does something fun with these sort of dialogue boxes. Every time Batman busts something new, it gives you like a description of it, right? And highlights it, right? Like it's really cool, And that was something that we haven't gotten in a Batman book in so long. Like, everyone focuses solely on the Batmobile, or the gadgets are just there and they're never sort of talked about, right? Like this, it felt like it was a very integral part of the story in the book, and there was something very CSI like about it, that I loved, because it was very tactical in the way that Matt did that, and the way Batman was using these things, and not just whipping out a grappling gun for this because he needed to get up high. Like, there was a lot of fun with this book, and I don't mean that in a silly, childish way. Like, you can just tell, like, Matt writing this, like, he loves Batman, and the way that he sort of, went about that, I really loved and appreciated. But the other thing I love too is we're all so familiar with the Rogues Gallery, right? And I think one of the things that we loved about the Absolute series is that it's taken the heroes and the villains and sort of flipped them upside down. Well, Matt's not flipping anything upside down, but he's just giving us a different sort of version, a different sort of side of Killer Croc, that we've never really seen before, right? Because you say Killer Croc, and an image immediately pops in your head of both what the character looks like and how they act.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said this time and time again on this program. I love a redemption story, right? And it's not that we're getting a redemption story here, but the storytelling that Matt does with Killer Croc and with Batman sort of like being Batman and saying he is who he is, right? And just judging that book by its cover, and you've got other people say, well, you know, pump the brakes a bit there, Bats. Was a really great element to this. And this first issue was excellent, right? I think that's the tricky thing with characters like Batman, Superman, right? It's like how to tell a fresh story that doesn't feel repetitive.
Mhm.
Nails it. Absolutely nails it. Gives you everything you want in a Batman book, and it feels fresh, and doesn't feel redundant at all. And Jimenez's art is always outstanding.
Whew, yeah, man. Jorge Jimenez are outstanding. It's just
Yeah,
it's so it just the it I don't know a better way to put this. It really increases the fun factor for the story. He just does
100%.
an outstanding job. But I love everything you had to say about Matt Fraction. I just want to specifically note that there was a line that was
Yeah,
delivered to Batman in this issue without saying who said it or anything. That's delivered to Batman, and I legitimately laughed out loud. Like you
I
and I
did
were
too.
talking about it beforehand, and you bring it up, and you laughed again. It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
just it's good. It was really good stuff.
yeah.
Batman issue 1, strong start to the new numbering for Batman. But you mentioned the Absolute Universe just a second ago, and obviously we touched on Absolute Superman, which really was an outstanding issue. And I'm at the end of that issue, I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure exactly where I was gonna go because the Absolute Universe, a lot of different shit can happen.
Is
And a
Kal-El
lot
slicking his hair back? Is he living for
uh,
New Year's Eve now? I don't
he,
know.
he he might be. He might be. But I'll tell you what, Absolute Green Lantern issue 6, Al Ewing and Janoy Lindsay. This is this is the biggest issue for this series yet. Period. There's no question about that.
This was a must-need issue, if that makes sense.
Oh, interesting. Oh, it's right because you had kind of fallen off on Absolute Green Lantern a smidge.
It's not that I had fallen off, but like I
That's true.
think
You
the
didn't
way I
fall off.
described it before was that like the other absolute titles were sort of they were moving very linearly, right? They were
Mhm.
moving in a direction. They were going from A to B, whereas Green Lantern just sort of felt like all these issues were sort of just really taking place over a 24, 48-hour period, right?
Very much so. Yes,
Like
that's true.
where are we going? I need this to start moving forward. And what this issue did was it gave us a lot of information that we needed without like feeling like it's not like I was reading a Hickman data page, right? You know,
No.
this gave you in a very brilliant way, gave you a lot of information that just fit. It was like a missing puzzle piece. And I feel
Mhm.
like from here, we're cooking with gas, baby.
Yeah, the end of issue 5, we get this mic drop final page that was
Mm.
just like, oh, okay. Like we kind of been learning some stuff, but it was a lot of breadcrumbs, and then we get this final moment. Then it's like, oh, all right, things are about to get very, very interesting. And off of that, in this issue, there's a lot more information as you were alluding to, Joe. Like, a lot more developments. And as much as that was all interesting, like I agree with you 100%. Like that was so important for the series in so many different ways. I'm also like, when I was thinking about the issue after reading it and reflecting on making notes and stuff, Janoy Lindsay's art was
Whoa.
insane. It's been insane in this series, but the colors in this issue were, and it's very fitting for a Green Lantern story, of course, but the colors in this issue were inside, like out of this world. And I know I guess it's a pun in this instance. I apologize, but I'm still blown away by what, like, thinking about that issue because there's so many different moments that it's just like that pops in a different way. That has a little bit of shine. This consumes the page, and it's just I was very, very impressed by Janoy Lindsay in this issue.
There was a brilliance, and I don't mean that in the like the academic sense, right?
Mm,
I mean like a brilliance in the art and that it popped. There was
mm.
a shine, there was a luster to a lot of these pages where if I'm remembering correctly, right, like mostly a black background and then a
Yeah.
halo of color, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
that would there was like just a brilliance of light, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
to a lot of these panels, and you needed that because with that became a lot of like information that makes you go,
Mm-hmm.
got it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's even for people who I think are Green Lantern fans. Like this just really isn't your typical Green Lantern book,
No,
right? Like
it's very much
everything about it is flipped on its head. So like getting that information, having it make sense in this world now, and I feel like now that we have that information, the story can just go like you know
yes.
full speed forward.
To sum this all up, the least amount of action that we've had in a
Mm,
Green Lantern issue so far, but some of the most impressive art that we've seen in all of the absolute DC titles. I really feel that strongly about this issue. All right, moving forward from Boom, we got the War issue 2, and then why don't you take us through a few of these, Joe?
all right, I'll take us through Dark Horse, Mad Cave, and Oni. How about that?
Sounds good.
From Dark Horse, we have FML issue 6, The Witcher, The Bear and the Butterfly issue 3. Did you read this?
Nice ending there to that issue.
Oh man, excellent.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I love what Size done. So this was the best issue yet.
that was really good.
Um, Ghostbusters, Dead Man's Chest issue 4. I did we get that?
I can double
Mm,
check while you're reading these off.
that one might be a typo. League of Comic Geeks. Texarkana issue 2. Stranger Things, Tales from Hawkins 2 issue 3. Tramps of the Apocalypse issue 3. The Adventures of Lumen N issue 1. From Medcave, we have Flash Gordon issue 11. Great issue. Love this issue. Look Into My Eyes, not you, Brian Adams, which is a book that you're reading. And
Mhm.
then Bitchcraft issue 3. And then from Oni, we have Adventure Time issue 5, Cruel Universe issue 3, Adventure Time, The Bub Line College Special issue 1. And this book sounds very, very dirty. Skin Police 2 issue 1.
So circling back on Ghostbusters Dead Man's Chest issue 4, that is out this week. We did get
That
that review
is.
copy.
Oh, okay. I
Yes.
gotta circle back and read that.
Moving on from AWA, we got Charlemagne the God presents Illuminati issue 3. Distillery, we have White House Robot Romance issue 1. And then from Titan, we have, or Titan, as some would call it, we got Savage Sword of Conan, issue 10, Return to Skull Island issue 3. What do we got from Dynamite this week?
From Dynamite, Nicholas. Now we have a major development. We're now able to discuss Dynamite books on the program live because we now are the proud recipients of review copies. So we Thundercats Lost issue 6, written by Ed Brisson, which I read and loved. That series continues to be absolutely excellent and a great companion piece to Thundercats. Silverhawks issue 7, also written by Ed Brisson. Again, fun. I was thinking about this earlier before we get to the other ones. Is that I go through these weird phases, right? Where it's like, okay, I'm just obsessed with horror books, or I'm obsessed with fantasy
I
sort
hear
of
that.
books.
Hmm.
Right now, I am just having an absolute ball reading what I consider like fun comics,
Mm,
right? So like Silverhawks, Flash Gordon, Speed Racer, Space Ghost, right? A lot of these nostalgic books, like they're really, really good. Um, but they're also just like fun. Like
hmm.
it's just like I'm reading them and like I'm just sort of having a blast with them, and that's kind of where I'm at. Like Ghostbusters, Dead Man's Chest. That's just another. It's just like a fun book. Like
Mm,
I'm just in this zone right now where I'm just sort of reading these books. I'm like, that was a lot of fun. I mean, I enjoy reading all these books, but some hit me hard,
hmm,
emotionally. Some absolutely scare the piss out of me.
hmm.
Some I'm reading because they're like something is killing the children. It's an epic, all timers. So I'm just having a blast right now with some of these titles. I'm just having a ton of fun with. Um,
That's awesome. I'm really happy for you. It really, like, when you have that sweet spot where it's like, this is the
yeah.
thing right now for me, and then you have a plethora of stuff to pick from, and
Oh,
like we do. I like, oh, that's awesome.
swimming in it, Nicholas. Swimming in it up to
Great.
my eyeballs. Love it. Thundercats and Powerpuff Girls issue 3, and then a book we both like to discuss because it just continues to kick ass. This issue, in particular, Captain Planet and the Planeteers issue 4, written by David Pepos with art by Iman Casalos.
So there's a character who will remain nameless.
Oh,
Who will remain
real
nameless.
slick back hair.
Well, that is very, very true. And I'll tell you what, I haven't thought about that character in a long ass time. And the second that character we see him, it's like, wow, man, just a full fucking rush to my brain of just like
You stink.
yep, 100% blew me away. But the other thing that I more so wanted to share about this issue was like, yeah, that's like the headliney kind of thing, but we've talked a lot about the different Planeteers and how they have different roles, and obviously, like, is it Wheeler who is the fire guy, if I'm not mistaken? Like, he's you know, you went and watched some of the cartoon as this series started over at Dynamite, and we're reminded of how he kind of was like a bit of a jerk, and then we're seeing that very much transpire here as well. But he's one that always stuck out in my memory, and so is Matai. Those were the two that I always remembered most vividly. And in these the first like 3 issues, I really started liking G a lot, who has the water ring. But this issue was a massive one for Matai, and he went up in my book so much. He'd been kind of going up slowly throughout the series, but this one he took a really big jump. I love how Pepos has like that character. I think has while like Wheeler's been matured, they've all been matured in various ways. Some that make them look worse, some that make them look better. I don't know if anybody's stock has risen more among the Planeteers than Matai's has throughout the course of this run at Dynamite.
Pepos has given him a little bit of sap, right? Giving him a little grit. I love it, right? Because he's sort of the sensitive one, right? Of the group, and in the cartoon, the original cartoon, he was just I don't know.
Heart. I mean, it's like, respectfully, as a kid, that's not the coolest one.
Yeah, and I don't want to call it lame, but you're right. Like when you're a kid, right? And so, what Pepos has done here is that he's really given them all, and they, as they should, like really unique personalities. But there's a little bit of fire to him, right? And you think of like he's heart. There's passion, right? And there can be some there can be some grit with passion.
100%.
And so we really see that come to a head, right? And so I love that. Just there's that grit there, and just the interaction between him and Captain Planet, and him and
yeah.
Just like, oh, you feel it, man. And this was the first issue of the series. I mean, I've loved them all so far, but this is the first one. Hot damn, was that awesome, And there was a lot of action without there being necessarily a lot of action. There was plenty of it, but like to me, this issue really was like character development and the ramifications that come with those decisions. There's a lot of consequence in this issue.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. So yeah, Captain Planet and the Planeteers. If you like that cartoon, this series has very much proven to be a must read if you're a fan of that series. And if you like that series, and maybe someone who likes to read comics too, you might want to gift this to them. But to wrap things up, Joe, we got Image and Skybound. Of course, from Skybound, we got the Walking Dead Deluxe issue 120, G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, issue 320. And then from the non-Skybound Image titles, we got Phantom Road, issue 15.
Which was the end of that arc, by the way.
Ooh, okay.
What an ending it was.
Damn, okay. Wow, okay. Damn. The Rockefellers, issue 8. That's my impression of Joe doing some other impression.
Rockefellers?
Sam and Twitch Case Files, issue 17. The Tin Can Society, issue 8. Which... Is that a limited series? Like, is that gonna? Because you talked about it.
That is the penultimate issue.
Okay,
9 issues.
Have you done that on the show? Because you talked about it a lot on the show. I know that. I don't think you've done it on the show.
I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, because I remember you telling me about it, and I was like, "Oh, this sounds awesome." Now, this one I'm curious about. You and I both read I Tyrant issue 1, and obviously, again, we're more about like talking about the books that we love, not about books that don't speak to us or whatever. Did you read the second issue?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. I had to remind myself that I read the first issue.
Gotcha. I didn't finish the first issue. Like that's just that's all you.
I know you didn't finish it, and I read it and I said I'm gonna give it the second issue.
Okay, nice.
and I'm trying to. I couldn't recall anything from it, so I haven't read it yet. And I was like, I don't know if I will. Right,
Yeah,
just being honest.
it's tough. Like I feel like I've done that same thing where it's like, "Oh, okay, and I think I might give it a second try." And again, we don't want to spend too much time on that kind of stuff. It happens. Like it's the way
You
it
can't
is.
read everything. You can't like everything, right? And
Exactly.
I'm
Yep.
not
And
saying
we just
anything negative about it. It just wasn't for
yeah,
us.
exactly. Then we got Closer issue 1, which I believe that one's the one shot that's out this week.
It's a one shot by Kieran Gillen, I believe.
Oh, that was the one from this the collected version
Yeah,
of
yeah,
his
yeah.
thing from Image, the anthology series. And then I got to check that one out. And then we got Artificial issue 1, which I know you're
Which
going
I
to check
did
that
read.
one. You did read, okay? From
I did read just real quick. Maria Lovett. Has this just great way of incorporating. You know, really taking sort of our obsession with technology, right, and the world of AI and all of that, and like just telling like these wildly erotic, violent thriller stories, you know. And this issue, artificial, issue one, sort of revolves around a woman struggling, a successful woman, but struggling with her, her love life, turning to a dating app. But it's a world of AI and robots, and it made me laugh because there was like microtransactions, which is very much a common part of anybody's life who's ever played any sort of video game like Madden or a mobile game where you like
hmm,
to continue on, spend $5 to get these credits so you can buy such and such upgrade. But the upgrades in this are like, size and length and
jeez.
shit of that nature. But it's excellent. She writes and draws her stories, and they're filthy, but they're terrifying. And they're great books to read.
The other two books that we wanted to discuss, one of them, I'm going to go into the Ghost Machine book. Obviously, we got two Ghost Machine books out this week, the Rockefellers being one. And then we got another Hyde Street story that's been going on. I know you were high on it after the first issue. I liked it when I wasn't like crazy about it. Go ahead.
Still haven't read it actually.
Oh, I thought you. Okay, my mistake. I must be misremembering. I
Mm.
liked the first issue. Second issue was even better. Third issue this week, even better. Sisterhood, a Hyde Street story, issue 3. This is written by Matal Jute and Layla Lees. The first issue was like it was intense. It was very intense. Like something happens to this girl who was trying to rush at a sorority, and it's created a lot of issues for a lot of different people, both emotional because they lose somebody, and then also like like the people at the university are all like, oh, like this bad thing happened. What do we do? How do we like survive it? Blah blah blah. And it's like you guys are the a-holes that made this happen. Anyways, that's just the first issue. Then there's some steps taken forward in the second issue where we're seeing this spirit making its return, and then in this third issue where after steps were taken where her friend Sophia, the girl that passed, actually her name is Violet, so maybe you don't want to read that.
Yeah,
But
maybe not.
the character Sophia is very much like that good loyal friend who wants to be there for Violet, but you can tell off the rip like this Violet character, like she's not the same person she was before she bit the bullet. And it got kind of crazy in the second issue, especially at the very ending. And then this third issue was just like, this is you knew this was going to happen, Sophia. Like you were only like lying to yourself. Like how did you not know this was going to happen? Like Violet is extremely violent and problematic, and now it's just like the big thing for me has been with their dynamic. It's very uncomfortable. Like there's clearly
Mm.
clearly a friend like trying to help the other friend who's been done wrong, but it's like I don't want to do that. I don't want to take these next steps, and now you're putting me in a friggin' terrible position. So it's been a really fun series. You should check this one out, Joe. It's
I've been meaning to. Again, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go back and reread those so I can get caught up. And Cable 11 Chrome snuck
yep.
its way into my heart.
That is very fair. The book though that is it could very well be for me the book of the week is something that I had mentioned in the solicit. This is written by Tate Bromble with art by Jacob Phillips. Everything Dead and Dying issue 1. what a stellar twist on the zombie genre, Joe.
Oh, you know what? This was a rare time where before I read it, I I read the synopsis, and I wish I had, and I don't think I'll ever do that again. Um,
Hmm.
because I think the experience would have been a little bit different. Because I forgot, I know we read it on the solicit, but I
Mhm.
sort of forgot. And the beautiful thing that I loved about this book was like you get these sort of what you think are dream sequences, right? Um, and it's a little it's when I say choppy, I'm not saying that as a negative, right? It's sort of like, when you're watching a movie and and you sort of get these quick flashes, right?
Mhm.
And then when you get to that pivot point and the story just sort of like it flips on its head and then just goes right full bore. Oh man, that is so brilliant. That is
Mhm.
such a fun take on the zombie genre, and then the way it ends. Um, y- Everything about this issue is brilliant, and for again, like for a zombie story, much like Batman, I think it's hard to pull that off where
Mhm.
you could tell a zombie story and have it feel fresh. Like, what can it do that The Walking Dead or World War Z or Night of the Living or any of these sort of 28 Days Later, whatever, hasn't done already, right? But it does. It does.
Mhm.
Holy shit! Why hasn't anyone thought of that yet?
Mhm.
So good. So and
Yeah.
and Jacob Phillips' art, as always, is stellar, and I think works perfectly for a zombie story. Just
Mhm.
perfect. The colors, the line art, everything about it. Because there is that sketchiness to his art a little bit, right? It's a little
Yeah.
unrefined at times, and I always find that style to be very fitting and a very good pair for a horror type story, and it
Yeah.
was just executed so well.
The ending of this too was very much perfect. Like the second issue is and beyond is very very promising, and like to me this is not just a general like awesome twist on the zombie genre, but like we're taking this type of character that we've seen in other zombie stories where like the reader or the audience like stumbles upon this character in this apocalyptic story. It extends beyond zombies, and like you question, or even like this individual, or even see them as villainous. And now it's like it's totally flipped that around on us in a few different ways. And I'm just when I saw the synopsis for this, I was like, this is gonna be really impressive, and it was. And to what you're saying about like, expectations and stuff, that's where when we don't talk spoilers, like we try to avoid them so much. There's a level to which it's like we don't want to spoil things for people, but I'm also like I want to give you a lot without giving
Mm.
away too much, and also still be like you can listen to this and like understand after you read the story what we're talking about. It's like kind of walking that tightrope as best we can, so you're getting the best experience that you can, like we did when we read it.
Yeah, the synopsis 100% gives too much away,
Yes,
which is a
just don't.
shame.
Yeah, it is. If you haven't heard it, don't read it. Don't read it. Just take
Yeah,
our
yeah,
word
you
for it on this book.
just grab the book and read it,
Yep.
because it's not to say that you won't enjoy it, but like I'm like, oh,
No.
nuts, nuts. But
Hmm.
it's okay. I still loved it. I think you might be right. Um, that it might be the book of the week. And there was some, and that's high praise because there was a lot of really fucking good books out
Yeah.
this week.
This was a really really strong week for comics, and the month should continue that way. But that is going to do it for us this week. Reminder for everybody: make sure you subscribe to all of our audio channels because you never know when the next Friar Side chat is coming, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can watch us every Tuesday, even ahead of when the audio is dropping. The video is always the thing that comes first. But until next week.
Keep reading, baby.